you started with 50 things about this upcoming election. 50 threats. Tell us what they are.
Yeah, so we break the threats into 5 categories because there's so many of them. And so the first category is dark money. Dark money is a huge problem, and that kind of begins before ballots are ever printed, let alone cast. And in the dark money category, we've got all kinds of things like straw donor schemes. Specifically, we looked into the ActBlue smurfing operations. There is now evidence that ActBlue, this would be the big fundraising platform that the left uses, is susceptible to straw donor schemes. And so a straw donor scheme, it's a crime, is when someone makes a donation in the name of someone else. And so this happens when people want to bypass campaign finance limits. You can only donate $3,300 in the primary and $3,300 in the general, $3,300, $6,600 total to a particular candidate. There's a limit on it. Once you hit that $6,600, that limit, you can't give any more to the candidate's campaign. And so then you have to go other avenues like super PACs and things like that. But there's a reason why you would want to go higher than $6,600 to the campaign. They get all kinds of benefits like cheaper advertising. So there's evidence that's going on the ActBlue platform, possibly even on the WinRed platform, which is the Republican platform. That's the dark money category. There's a bunch of other things in that, foreign funding and all of that. Then we get into the next step in this election threats report is get out the vote operations. Get out the vote operations include things like registering people to vote. We have a huge section on non-citizen voting. It would stun you how easy it is to get non-citizens onto the voter rolls. I mean, there's been 10 million, possibly more, non-citizens, illegal aliens who have come into this country through our southern border under Biden-Harris, and now they're making their ways on the voter rolls. In Ohio, just the other day, 6 individuals were busted for voting in this cycle in the primaries, and they're non-citizens. You're not allowed to vote if you're not a citizen of this country. At least you shouldn't be able to. But states all over the country are finding thousands, tens of thousands of non-citizens. We calculated over 33,000 non-citizens that had made it onto the voter rolls and are now, it takes huge legal battles to get them off the voter rolls, which brings me to the third category, lawfare. Lawfare has at least 10 threats of the 50 in this report. And this covers things like rogue prosecutors, like the ones who have been charging President Trump with all of these charges that are now getting kind of thrown out. Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, you know their names. Lawfare also is what the Biden administration is doing to keep these voter rolls dirty. They are actually backing the secretaries of states in, let's say, states like Arizona or Pennsylvania or Michigan, when people try to clean up the voter rolls, get the non-citizens off of the rolls. The secretaries of state, many of them backed by George Soros, like Jocelyn Benson in Michigan and the guy in Arizona, Adrian Fontes, they just found 218,000 people are currently going to vote in the 2024 election who have never shown proof of citizenship. I mean, that's just staggering. And so that's election swinging numbers. We found in this report over 1 million potential voters who could swing the election in 2024 that shouldn't even be on the voter rolls to begin with. So it's really stunning stuff. The last 2 categories are voter fraud, which is when the individual commits voter fraud, like the one person cheats, and then election fraud, which is when the officials rig the election. And so both of those things, when it comes down to the counting and the signature matching, that would be election fraud when they loosen up the signature matching, for example. Voter fraud would be when you vote twice. Like, let's say you moved from Florida to North Carolina, and you still get a ballot in Florida, and you can then get a ballot in North Carolina, voting twice, duplicate voting. That's voter fraud. That's a crime. People are being convicted of this all the time.